When Ellen first saw the note pinned to her refrigerator, she thought it was a joke, cruel, tasteless, but still a joke. You thought it was all forgotten? Not everything. No signature. No date. Just black letters on a yellow sticky note, written in a hand that wasn't hers. She ripped it off and crushed it in her fist. Her heart hammered like it had 15 years ago, when she'd stood outside that hospital room, empty-handed, chest full of lies. But that was impossible. No one knew. No one could know. And yet, someone did. Ellen Bradley lived in a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of Minnesota, the kind of place where neighbors still took each other's trash bins to the curb and swapped pumpkins every Halloween. At 62, she'd spent the last decade enjoying the calm rhythm of widowhood, morning walks with her dog, book club on Wednesdays, a garden that bloomed even through the coldest springs. But her peace shattered the day her niece knocked on the door. "Hi, Aunt Ellen," Claire said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation, as if nothing had changed since she was 12. But everything had. Claire had grown into a sharp, stubborn woman with eyes that missed nothing. She carried a suitcase and the scent of the road, coffee, gasoline, and something bitter Ellen couldn't name but felt instantly. "Mom died," Claire said, still wearing her coat. "Did you know?" Ellen nodded. She'd received the letter from the funeral home 3 weeks earlier. She hadn't replied. Hadn't gone. Hadn't called. "I found something in her things," Claire continued, setting her suitcase by the sofa. "Her journal." A chill ran through Ellen. "You weren't supposed to read it." "Why?" "Because it tells the truth." The silence in the house thickened like morning fog over a lake. "Sit down," Ellen finally said. "I'll make tea." But Claire didn't sit. She walked to the kitchen table, pulled a worn, lined notebook from her bag, and placed it in front of her aunt. "You stole everything from her. Her house. Her money. Even her memory of who she was." Ellen didn't defend herself. She simply filled the kettle and turned on the stove. Because Claire was right. It had all started 20 years ago. Sisters Ellen and Linda lived in neighboring houses on the same quiet street. Linda's husband had left when Claire was still a child. Ellen's husband, a police officer, had died in the line of duty. Both carried grief, but differently. Linda drowned in it. Ellen built walls around it. When Linda began losing her memory, slowly at first, then faster, Ellen took control. She got power of attorney, moved her sister's accounts under joint management, and sold Linda's house while she could still sign papers, even if she no longer understood what she was signing. "This is for your own good," Ellen would say whenever Linda cried, not recognizing her own yard. She placed her sister in a clean, well-kept assisted living facility near Minneapolis, with a view of the park. But she didn't visit often. At first, it was work. Later, it was fear, the fear of seeing the woman who'd shared her childhood fade into a ghost. And when Linda stopped recognizing even Ellen's name, Ellen stopped coming altogether. But she kept collecting her sister's pension. Kept paying the facility from a shared account she alone controlled. And when Linda's house sold, those funds also went toward care, though care had long since dwindled to almost nothing. Ellen told herself she was doing the right thing. That Linda didn't understand. That no one was hurt. But now Claire stood before her, holding a journal in which her mother had written. Ellen came again. Said everything's fine. But I remember, she took my earrings. The ones Dad gave me. I'm not crazy. I'm just afraid to say it. Did you know she was still writing? Claire asked. No, Ellen answered honestly. Did you know she called me every month until she could barely hold the phone? She said she missed me. Wanted to go home. Was afraid of you. Ellen looked down. I did what I thought was necessary. You did what was convenient for you. Maybe. And now? Now I'm an old woman who's carried this weight too long. Claire was silent. Then she said, I don't want your money. I want the truth. The truth doesn't matter to anyone anymore. It matters to me. Ellen sighed deeply. All right. Sit. I'll tell you. She told her everything. How she first noticed Linda forgetting where she left her keys. Then how she got behind the wheel and nearly hit a child in a crosswalk. How neighbors complained that Linda wandered the street in her pajamas. I couldn't let her stay alone, Ellen said. But I didn't want to lose her house. It was part of us. You could have left it to me. You were in college, living in another state. You never even asked. Ellen didn't answer. And the earrings? Claire pressed. I didn't take them. The journal says you did. Maybe she was mistaken. Or maybe I took them to sell when the facility bills got too high. I don't remember. You don't remember? No. Claire walked to the window. Outside, rain began to fall, quiet, autumnal, the kind only Minnesota knows. I don't know what to do with you, Aunt Ellen. You can leave. Or stay. Why? Because I'm all you have left. Claire turned. There was no hatred in her eyes, only pain and exhaustion. Do you really think revenge is the answer? I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just telling the truth. What if I tell everyone? Go ahead. But ask yourself, who would it help? Claire was quiet a long time. Then she said, I'll stay. For a week. Why? Because I want to understand how someone can betray their own sister and still look so calm. Ellen gave a bitter smile. Calm isn't the absence of pain. It's learning to bury it so deep, you stop feeling it yourself. The next day, Claire helped Ellen clean the garden. They worked in silence, as if accusations had never passed between them, only shovels, gloves, and fallen leaves. That evening, Ellen brought out a bottle of wine she'd been saving for a special occasion. Why didn't you ever remarry? Claire asked. Never had time. Or never wanted to? A bit of both. What about kids? I had a chance. Once. But I chose my career. And do you regret it? Sometimes. They sat on the porch, watching the sun sink behind the pines. Have you ever wondered if things could have been different? Claire asked. Every day. Then why didn't you change them? Because I was afraid. Afraid of what? Of admitting I was wrong. Claire nodded. Mom wrote that you were always strong. That you kept everyone afloat. But one day, you just got tired. Ellen closed her eyes. Yes. And you let her drown. Yes. Tears rolled down her cheeks, but she didn't wipe them away. I thought I was doing the right thing. That it was better for her to forget than to suffer. But I didn't just take her house. I took her right to be herself until the very end. Claire took her hand. You can still make something right. How? Tell her story. All of it. Not just the part where you're the hero. Ellen looked at her niece. You want me to write about this? No. I want you to live with it. Every day. Not hide it. Not excuse it. Just remember it. That will hurt. Yes. But it'll be honest. On the 7th day, Claire packed her suitcase. Where are you going? Ellen asked. Back to Chicago. For good. For now. She hugged her aunt. I don't forgive you. But I won't let you disappear. I'll call. I'll visit. And I'll make sure you don't hide again. Ellen nodded. Thank you. When Claire left, the house grew quiet again. But this time, the silence felt different, not empty, but alive. Ellen walked to the refrigerator and took down that yellow sticky note. She placed it in a box with Linda's old letters, those that had arrived in the early years of her illness. Thank you for taking care of me. You're the best sister. Don't forget to smile. Then she opened a notebook and began to write. Not an excuse. Not a confession. Just a story. A story about the sister she loved. The sister she betrayed. And the revenge that doesn't come with rage, but with truth.